Welcome to the Saturday Evening Ghost. I'm your ghost host, Mary, and tonight I have a really exciting story for you. It is from one Stina, who sent me, well, probably the most chilling tale that I have for you yet. So let me prepare for a second, because this one's gonna need a little help. Let's get started. I live in a very old part of New England. The houses here were commonly built in the 1800s, and some as old as the late 1600s. They're covered in dozens of layers of chipping paint, patterned wallpaper, have crumbling horsehair walls, dirt basements, and creaky hardwood floors. They often have been remodeled a dozen times and have a weird mix of Victorian elegance and 90s styled modern updates. Those houses you see in horror movies, those are the houses we inhabit in New England. Those are the houses we grew up in. Over 100 years old. They've seen so much history, and they're all haunted. I was 15 when I moved into the house on Congress Street. It had been a huge Victorian single-family home that was subdivided into 3 apartments. Ours was half of the house, with 2 floors, an attic, and a half-remodeled basement. It had curling stairs that wrapped from the center of the house into the hall upstairs, and a tiny faded door that led to narrow, brittle stairs into a gray, dusty attic filled with bats. Like many old Victorian homes, it had a huge eating kitchen with an elegant dining room nestled between it and the living room. For some reason, the dining room didn't have its own door to the hall, but instead a huge square hole, like a picture window without glass, sitting chest height in the wall. Sounds like a pretty rad house. There were 5 children in my family. My parents believed in lots of rules and chores, but also gave us plenty of time to be outside, explore, or play. The basement had been half finished. One half-tiled in loud black, white, and red vinyl tiles. On one side of the basement, a wood-paneled wall was built against the pipes to hide them. A huge built-in bar was against the far wall, with tiny mirrors glued to the counter and shelves for a truly hideous disco effect. The combination of the loud tiled room with wood paneling and disco ball bar might have been the scariest thing in the house, if it hadn't been for the other half of the basement. I'll be the judge of that. I need to see this disco ball bar. Next to the bar was a doorway jaggedly cut through the paneling into the unfinished half. If you've never been into a classic unfinished New England basement, they are truly the stuff of nightmares. The main part of the room is a dirt floor, actual dirt, with large stones the size of a coffee table jutting up through the dirt in sections. Against one wall, a long counter was built and covered with a peeling contact paper, and the far wall featured an old washer and dryer sitting on pallets in the dirt, next to a cracked and fogged full window looking into the small backyard and the river. And along the entire side of the basement ran a dozen pipes and cords twisting around each other and down into a tunnel made by the paneled wood from the finished part of the basement. When we first moved in, my sister Nikki and I took my little red flashlight and knelt at the tunnel edge, shining the light into it. The pipes were so thick, you'd have to crawl on your hands and knees to get to the back. Neither of us went in, but shined the light. It felt washed out and barely penetrated the dark. Rocks littered the ground, and the wall looked like cinder blocks, but we could only see about halfway. The gloom in the back a mystery, hiding whatever the pipes went to. Okay. Whew. All right. It wasn't long before things started to happen. My mom felt someone pinching her when she did the laundry. When she told me to put my clothes away, a cold voice whispered in her ear, "That's your job." But when she whipped around, no one was there. We all took turns feeling watched or smelled a strong floral perfume. The dog would sit in the basement while we did laundry, barking down the tunnel, or staring through the foggy glass toward the river, growling. At night, someone would walk up the stairs from the basement, down the hall, and past the dining room picture window hole. And though you could hear them, no one would be there. The computer sat next to the window, and on occasion the footsteps would stop. I couldn't see anyone, but I'd hear them breathing, watching me type. Sometimes, one of us would hear a voice calling us into a room. My little brother, who was 5, insisted a person lived in his closet, and when he stayed up late, oh boy, okay. When he stayed up late, they'd tell him to go to sleep and to stop bothering them. Though my brother was terrified of his closet and kept it closed at all times, it was very often open in the morning. My mother, of course, blamed it on the 100-year-old door latch, but my brother insisted it was the closet person that kept opening it. My sister saw a hanger spin around a doorknob 20 times by itself, and when we went up and down the basement stairs, an invisible hand would slap the back of our feet, causing us to trip. We all ran up the stairs as quickly as possible for fear that instead of tripping us, it might grab us or pull us down. Sometimes we'd hear a quiet laugh. Once I woke up to pee in the night and saw that the house wasn't split, but a full house with a wide stairway. I went downstairs and saw people playing music in the corner while couples in fancy clothes danced. One of the dancers turned to me and said, "You shouldn't be here, go to bed." I rushed up the stairs and back into bed, and the next morning the house was normal, but my mom told me not to play my music so loud at night. Because there were 5 of us, my mother made each of us take turns with laundry. It was our most hated chore, since we would have to stand in the unfinished dirt floor basement, folding clothes with our backs turned to the tunnel, the dog growling, and then run up the stairs so that the hand wouldn't trip us. Usually, she would be down there with the little ones, but my sister, Lisa, was lackadaisical. She was 7 or 8 and spent most of her time playing with treasure trolls and, those dolls, troll dolls? Wow, I love those. With treasure troll dolls and turning every sentence she said into singing. She had long blonde hair, big hazel eyes, and she fluttered through life like a butterfly. It was her turn to fold the clothes in the dryer. My mom had told her a dozen times. Lisa, for her part, had been playing with a toy, and when my mom took it away to help her focus on her chore, Lisa instead had began singing a song and swaying around. My mom told her to stay downstairs until she was finished folding the laundry and then went upstairs to cook dinner. She expected to wait 10 minutes and then go back and check on her. But after moments, my silly sister came wandering up the stairs with an excited gleam in her eye. She handed the laundry basket to my mom, and when my mom looked in, the entire contents of the dryer had been folded. My mom looked shocked. "How did you fold this so quickly?" My sister shrugged. "It's perfect," my mom exclaimed. I got up from the kitchen table and went to see. The clothes were folded in crisp lines, all the exact same shape. A perfect rectangular stack. My sister looked sheepish. "She helped me," Lisa said. "Who helped you?" my mom asked, sounding a little desperate. "Did you let someone into the house?" "She was already in the house, Mom. She lives here," my sister innocently said to my mother. "What?" I said. "Who does?" my mother said. "She came down the tunnel, Mama, the one with the pipes. She had tall yellow hair and a beautiful yellow gem in her belly." My sister looked fanatical. A treasure troll?" I said, confused. My mom at this point was gripping my sister's arms, the basket forgotten on the table. "Tell me what happened, Lisa. Start from the beginning." My mother was taking breaths, calming herself. "I was in the basement and I opened the dryer door. I didn't feel like folding the laundry, so the treasure troll came out of the tunnel. She said she would help me, and she took the clothes out and folded them for me. She told me to take this basket upstairs to my mama and go play. She was so nice." My mom slowly repeated, "So, a treasure troll came out from the basement and folded your clothes," her hand shaking. "Yes," said Lisa, "and she told me to tell you, children should play. Chores are for mothers. They're your job." and then my sister giggled and ran off to find her favorite yellow treasure troll. That night, my sister Nikki and I snuck into the basement with the red flashlight. We creeped to the edge and shined the light in. It still didn't reach the back, and we were still too scared to crawl in. We turned and rushed back up the stairs, and I felt cold fingertips brush the backs of my bare feet as we ran. Well, thanks a lot, Stina. I'm gonna have nightmares now. But it's okay, because that was a really amazing story. And you did mention in your email that you have several of those. And yes, I am very interested in reading those. So please send them over whenever you want. I'm very excited about that. And as to the rest of you, I hope you're all hanging in there this week. I hope you're doing okay and you're staying safe. I'll definitely see you next Saturday. And if you can't wait a week for a little ghost, this Tuesday I'm doing a live Saturday evening ghost with a guest artist, Caitlin McCarthy. So please check us out. We're going to be going live at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on Instagram. And until then, happy hauntings.